We want to emphasize the importance of early testing and prevention. So as Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to an end, we have two guests from Siteman Cancer Center joining us today. Washington University breast surgeon Dr. Glover Collins, as well as podcast host This Is Cancer. Laura, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so Dr. Glover, why don't we start with you? Who is at risk for breast cancer specifically?
So any woman.
Yeah.
Typically, we start screening at the age of 40.
Okay.
And we continue that until well into their 70s. And so the two biggest risk factors for breast cancer is being a woman and getting older.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, however, we mentioned it even before this segment began, the importance of early detection.
Yes.
So when is the right age for that process to start?
For most women, that will be at the age of 40.
Okay.
But if you have a family history of breast cancer, such as our co-host here, Laura, you might have to start screening earlier.
Okay.
So we encourage every woman to get a risk screening at the age of 25 to evaluate their risk of breast cancer so that we can start screening at the appropriate age.
Wow, that's fascinating. Here I am thinking, you know, and 25, that's pretty young. I mean, that's something to kind of make you think, oh, getting on it early. So that's a big part of this. So is it true that it's very treatable if it is caught early?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. If it's caught in the early stages, 0, 1, 2, you have at least a 90-something% chance of beating this cancer. Even in the later stages, stage 3, there are some good prognoses associated with that, but of course the numbers are much lower.
And are there specific symptoms that women should be looking out for?
Absolutely. Masses are our biggest symptom that women will complain of, and this is going to be a painless mass. Most breast cancer does not hurt. Nipple discharge, especially bloody nipple discharge that comes out on its own, or if you start noticing changes in the skin, like dimpling of the skin, changes in the texture of your skin, reddening of the skin, generalized swelling of the breast, all of those are symptoms that should not be ignored, that you should seek attention for.
Of course. And Laura, so this is a little bit of what your podcast does, right, is have on these experts to share, but this particular topic is one that hits close to home.
Yes, my sister was diagnosed at the age of 45, so that automatically, and I have very dense breasts, which we know is also a really important risk factor. Absolutely. It's harder to find the masses with just a regular mammogram, so I get screened twice a year. I get an MRI in January and I get a mammogram in June, because my sister caught it early, but because she was diagnosed before the age of 50, it's important that I do the extra screening. And we talk with 3 women on our season 2 premiere that all found their cancers because they were paying attention to their breasts and they were getting their screenings, and that's how they were able to all 3 become survivors.
Wow, and I love this. We were just talking about this number. The big part of the thing is women sometimes don't want to care for themselves, right? We want to put our health on the back burner.
That is also correct. The vast majority of women, I would say 95% of them, are always caring for someone else. Yeah. And so I think it underscores the importance of a simple screening test once a year, beginning at the age of 40 if you're average risk. If you're high risk, you might begin screening mammograms at the age of 35, or 10 years before the youngest person who's diagnosed with breast cancer in your family. And we can effect a real change by doing that.
Of course. Okay, well, Laura, I have this. This is the Juliet box. It is a tribute box to give to your sister.
Oh, she's going to love it. She's very girly, so she's going to love it.
Good. It has all of the self-care items, and then some just to remind us all to sort of take care of ourselves, to advocate for our health, and how exciting that. This was just a sneak peek of that season premiere of This Is Cancer, right?
We couldn't just do one episode. We had so much great content. We made 2 parts. We have 2 episodes dropping tomorrow.
Dropping tomorrow. This Is Cancer. You can find it wherever you find podcasts. Again, this is just a glimpse of some of the things you'll learn, the stories you'll hear. All of that information is right there on your screen. Thank you both so much for joining us today.